California gas prices. Let's tackle that real quick. I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit of money right here. So let me pivot for that. These women don't be having nothing to talk about. They just be talking.
Prices in LA County are holding near $4.50 a gallon. That, of course, is well above the $3.14 a gallon national average. And while prices have dipped slightly, experts warn they could spike again as two major California refineries prepare to shut down. And you may have seen recent headlines suggesting experts forecasting $8 a gallon. Right now, I'm joined by Andy Walls. He is Chevron's president for downstream, midstream, and chemical. That means he essentially is in charge of everything that happens to oil after it's been pulled out of the ground. Good to see you, Andy. Thanks so much for being with me tonight.
Yeah, Marla, thanks again. It's good to see you and looking forward to the conversation.
Okay, well, let's start the conversation by showing you some video that we found today. So we sent our helicopter, Skyfox, as we call it, around town just to get some images of pricing. And we come across this gas station. It's a Chevron, not even trying to play gotcha here. This happens to be in Chinatown in the heart of LA. And it's $7.89.
Wait. $7.89 a gallon. Y'all know? Do y'all know? Fun fact here, guys. I'm gonna teach y'all something. Do y'all know where the majority of the costs at the pump come from? Most gas stations don't make money from gas. Very, very small profit. How do I know this? Because I have friends that own gas stations. Let me see something. I could be slightly off on that. Let me call my dog. On a friend.
Huh?
Omar.
This.
It's Anton.
Yeah.
What up, big dog? How you feel?
Good, bro. How about you, man?
Chilling. Hey, I got a business question. I was talking to my homeboy.
Yes, sir.
How long you been in the gas station business, bro?
I'm knocking on 32 years.
32 years?
Yeah, same spot.
What's the biggest headache in being in the gas station business?
So, I don't want to say it too loud, but possibly my crew.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh, you there right now? You there right now?
Yeah, I'm at work right now.
When I drive by there, you don't always be there, so I don't be knowing.
Well, you know, I put my couple of hours in, and then it's time for me to go. You know?
Yeah. What about all right? So just from a business perspective, this is the last question. I just gotta because I was asking my homeboy something.
Sure.
Do y'all make the majority of your money on the selling the gas, or is it the stuff that happens in the store?
Right now it's a mixed combination of both.
Okay.
You want to talk to me? Hi, Jeff. 25 years ago, or just 15 years ago? No, it wasn't like that. You only made money in your store, but it also depends. Anton, I'm real with it. Hold on. Is that a regular vitamin water? Yep. 49. Sorry, Anton. Depending on where you're at, bro, and your competition, you know, it plays a lot of factors. You got, you know, just a one man operation. He's probably going to be a little more aggressive on his pricing. You know, does he got liquor? Does he got beer? Is it just a store?
Yeah.
Food?
Yeah.
$2.69. You know, just a mix. Are you new construction? You're going to be millions behind the 8 ball compared to the guy down the street from you, which you don't got to be aggressive, you know, because he probably doesn't have a payment to make like you would.
Yeah.
If it was a new development.
Would you ever open up a gas station in like California?
So California, out there, yeah, their margins are different. Their margins, what they make on their gas is a lot more out there than it is down here. They make a lot more money on their gas. But I'm sure it's a lot more to operate and own out there. You know, California property is not Michigan property.
Right.
Why, you want to pop off one out there?
You going in with me?
Yeah, I would entertain it, depending on where you're at.
All right, bet.
Not that I know the market, but I know, you know, out there, you do the right play. Yeah, you could do very well.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can kick it.
Are you down here or are you out there now?
I'm out in Cali right now.
But you didn't move out of down here, did you?
No, I still got everything there.
Okay.
I'm just hanging out right now. I've been spending a lot of time in Cali.
I got you. The family good?
Yep, everything is great, bro. How's your family?
We're doing all right, Anton. You know, summertime right now, so there's busy. Weather's been nice out here.
Yeah. How's the sisters? How your sisters?
They're doing good. My sister's in town. My oldest one lives out in California. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, I didn't know that one. I didn't know that.
Yep, she's been out there for damn near 8 years in El Cajon in San Diego.
That's why I ain't been seeing her.
Yep. But my other one, she still helps me, you know, does all my paperwork, all my back end stuff for me.
Yep.
Over here at the gas station. And we're blessed, man. Every day we wake up, we're healthy, man. Thank God. I'm good, Anton.
Bet. All right, so let me do some research. I'm gonna call you in about a day.
Call me whatever you need.
All right, bet.
All right, Anton.
It's always good to have friends in different industries. It's always good to know business owners because you know, you don't even know, like you could be kicking it with somebody just on some general stuff and haven't even talked to them in 3 to 6 months. And then next thing you know, y'all talking about the possibility of opening up a new business in a whole nother state. You know what I'm saying? So, but see, that's why I like to have friends and information, because when I find out certain things, I can make some phone calls and then I can learn more about that particular industry if I'm not familiar with it, which also feeds into what we talk about on the Patreon, because the familiarity and understanding the margins in certain businesses will help you make a better decision on where to put your investment dollars at. Let's get back into the live stream, y'all.
A gallon, basically $8 a gallon. We've seen those headlines of late. This is already there. What's going on here?
Well, Marla, first off, these are independent business people. I certainly don't like seeing one of our retailers uncompetitive. That's not reflecting on our brand very well. Most of the Chevrons you'll see in the area will be at exactly the price you mentioned earlier. And this doesn't represent our brand very well. So apologize to that. Okay.
With that said, what is Chevron doing to lower prices?
Well, Marla, look, I think we've got to go back and talk a little bit about what's gone on over the last, call it 10 or 15, 20 years. I think what's happened in California is that policymakers have put politics in front of good energy policy. And we find ourselves in a situation where we have less supply today than we have demand in the state of California. And this is what's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the price. It's going to potentially put pressure on reliable supply, because the supply for the excess demand is going to have to come from somewhere overseas. And it's putting tremendous pressure, all the policy put tremendous pressure on refiners in the state. And that's your headline around a couple of refineries closing. Hey, that's real. That means less supply in the market. And I think it's a thing that Californians need to be focused on and concerned about.
So what he's basically saying, her first question, which was a dumb question, in my opinion, what he's basically saying is that lawmakers are determining the price, and they're also determining the business conditions in which a free market company should be able to operate inside of California. This is further proof that politicians are ruining California. This state is an awesome place to live in. You saying you're not buying this answer. Nichelle, let me tell you something. And this is what I know for sure because I study the stocks, I study the industries, I study the boom and bust cycles. I even watch Landman. I love Landman. Landman is probably the only series that I watch. I get an opportunity to be able to watch TV. It's very entertaining and it's informational. The thing that I will tell you is this, is that when you go to the gas station, the majority of the price that you're paying is monies that go over to state lawmakers. They have to pay for the gas, the product itself. That's the base. And then all of the taxes that get put on top of it, when you're talking about California legislation, them trying to push these EV mandates and stuff, it places business pressure on them. The cost ultimately get passed on to the consumer. So of course you're going to have some bad actors. I've been to places and I flew to cities where the gas station that is next to the airport, the gas station that is on the way to the airport, they price gouge. They price gouge. Why? Because they know that people have that only that one gas station to stop at in order to turn a rental car back into, and in order to not get charged the exorbitant amount that the rental car company would charge you in order to fill the car back up. And so when you stop at the gas station to fill the rental car up so that you can drop it off at the rental car agency, they're going to gouge the prices. But that is not the average. Most gas station owners are trying to get it at the lowest price or trying to put it at the lowest price possible in order to lure you in so that you can buy products that's inside of the store that helps keep them afloat. In addition to that, when you look at the gas prices, it's not just buy it for $1, sell it for $2. You got taxes, you got this, you got that, you got regulatory things. And so usually what will happen is legislators and lawmakers, in order to try to fill budget holes and gaps, they'll tax certain things. And in California, specifically what they'll do is they'll start to tax the gas stations. Most gas stations are not owner operated by the actual oil companies. They are owner operated by individual people that then get a deal from the the refinery or whoever it is, whether it's ExxonMobil or BP or whatever. They get a deal in order for them to be able to brand their company on there, and then they get a deal to buy their gas at a certain amount at the cost. So when you're looking at these oil companies, they don't always get to necessarily control what happens as far as how much gas station owners are selling the gas for. They are giving it to them for a certain price, but they also got to continue to frack. They got to continue to drill. They got to continue to refine it. They got to continue to deal with explosions. They got to deal with employees. They got to deal with all of this stuff. And that does not necessarily translate into them being as profitable as they are, because believe it or not, oil companies, big oil companies, take large losses in their quarters. And I know because I study the market itself. So when they ask him, what are you doing to lower gas prices? He don't necessarily have no control. It's the gas station owners who are trying to remain afloat because they got a mortgage payment to pay or they got to pay for the business. It's the legislators that are raising the prices based off of how it is that they're managing it and not making it a good environment to do business in. And then it's also the additional costs that come with that. So you can't just look at it from one lens. You can't just look at it from one lens. It's not buy it for $1, sell it for $2. Just because you see Chevron or Exxon or BP or Amoco or Sunoco on these gas stations, that does not necessarily translate into the oil companies necessarily making a whole lot of money as a result of it.
In the market. And I think it's a thing that Californians need to be focused on and concerned about.
So those two refineries, it's a Phillips 66 in Wilmington. That's set to close by the end of this year. And then one up in the Bay Area, Valero.
If they're so profitable, why are the refineries closing in California? Think about that for a second. You don't close a business that's profitable. You get as much out of it as you possibly can. If they're so profitable, why are the refineries closing in California, which is basically going to spike the prices and make y'all dependent on foreign oil?
In the East Bay, set to close by the end of 2026. That accounts, so there's the Phillips 76 nearby in Wilmington. These account for about 20% of our supply. So this will go up. This will theoretically increase the price, to your point about supply and demand. Chevron has moved its headquarters from San Ramon to Texas, where you join us live tonight. Are there plans to close the Chevron refinery in El Segundo?
Yeah, look, Marla, we don't have plans to close. We've been in California for over 140 years. We are proud of what we've done in California, but I think it's becoming quite acute. If we will have decisions that we will have to make going forward, and I am urging the regulators and state politicians to really think carefully about how they try to maintain reliable suppliers like Chevron. We are at a bit of a tipping point. You mentioned 20% more capacity comes offline. I'm not going to predict the future on pricing, but I can assure you with lower supply and still robust demand, I think California's playing a very dangerous game with refineries.
You just mentioned California legislators, our Democratic law.
He's warning them. Lower supply, higher demand. What is that going to translate into? Everybody that's ever took economics, everybody that's ever took a business class, when you have a low supply and high demand and bad politicians, what's the outcome? Yep, you hit it. You hit it. You hit it. You hit it. You hit the nail on the head. That is going to translate into higher prices, low supply, high demand, bad politicians that don't know how to create legislation and policy to make it a great environment. Is going to translate into higher prices, and the consumers, the middle class, are going to be the ones that suffer as a result of it. He's warning you. He's warning Gavin Newsom. He's warning the city. He's warning the governor. He's warning every single person that's in legislation in California. And this is why I tell people that you have to get involved. You have to know what it is that you're voting for. When you see these people run for office, especially locally, and they talk about these bullshit issues, I'm sorry to the daycares, they talk about these nonsense things that don't mean anything, that don't make an impact. You are basically talking to people that, and you're having them talk about it. When they talk about, oh my God, gay rights and all of this stuff, that ain't gonna have nothing to do with what you paying at the pump. That ain't gonna have nothing to do with whether or not you can afford a home. That ain't gonna have nothing to do with whether or not you can open up a business and if that business is gonna be protected. That don't have nothing to do with how they're gonna fund police officers in order to keep people from breaking into your spot. When you vote, you can't just vote directly across party lines. You have to vote based off of who is best for the position, that's not necessarily willing to just hold a party line, but is willing to do the thing that's best for whoever it is that their constituents are. You have to vote for somebody that has a great relationship to the president, because them just saying we hate Trump, we hate Trump, we hate Trump is not going to translate into you creating a better environment and a better living situation for yourself. Somebody said they hate daycares for messing up the show. Why? We still kicking it. We rocking. We're rocking.
Mayors, we know we have a Democratic supermajority in the state. Is Chevron, are you actively in touch with lawmakers to try and have this conversation?
Yeah, we are. I mean, look, secure and reliable energy doesn't have a political affiliation. Democrats, Republicans, and voters in California want lower prices, and they want to have a surety of long-term reliable supply. We are talking to the regulator. We are talking to the Energy Commission. We do hear a little bit more conversations coming out of Sacramento about this, that they're prioritizing it. But talk, Marla, it doesn't do a lot. We need real action. We need real changes in the way things are done in the state of California for it to make a difference. And for Chevron to be interested in putting more money in and investing in the future of El Segundo and our Richmond refinery.
Yeah. I believe that Cali is going to wind up being just for rich people. Cali is going to be the biggest no middle class state having living place. It's going to be people that's pretending to be in the middle class and people that's pretending to be and people that's really living that hard life. Honestly, I believe that Cali is going to be it's going to be a rich person's playground, and it's going to be for people that want to really work to survive so that they can keep up an environment for the rich people to be able to play. It's going to look like the Hunger Games. Honestly, because look, if you got money, and this is what I don't like to have this conversation a lot, but because I know that people going to feel some type of way. If you have, now Cali is not ugly. Cali is beautiful in certain parts. Los Angeles is ugly. Oakland is messed up. Sacramento is tore down. California is phenomenal. There's parts of California you drive. I drove for 2 hours yesterday, 2 and some change from LAX out here to where I am. I ain't gonna tell you where I'm at. It's awesome. If you have money, and this is what money looks like. Let me tell you what money looks like in California. And I'm not talking about a certain amount. I'm talking about a lifestyle. Most people that I've learned that I know that have a significant amount of resources that's inside of California, their main residence is usually probably in Vegas or Texas or Tennessee. They keep a home in Vegas. Vegas is literally less than an hour away as far as the flying to LA. You can get from LAX to Vegas in less than an hour. Or Tennessee, or Florida, or Texas, something like that. And the reason that they do it is because they can afford to have a separate home because it costs them less in having that home than it would in what they have to pay in taxes. You're not hearing me. This is why you want to get money. This is why you want to eliminate the debt. This is why you want to get rich. It costs them less to buy a home in a different state and spend 6 months, 6.5 months in a different state that is cheaper. It's cheaper for them to buy a home and pay taxes in a state that does not have state taxes than it does to live the entire time in California and pay state taxes in California. It's cheap. Listen to what I'm saying. It's cheaper for me to have a second home in a different state than it is for me to live in one state and pay the taxes. So the people that live, work, and play in California, regular, everyday middle-class folk that they keep on trying to act like that they doing something for y'all are the ones that's going to suffer. You're the ones that are going to suffer because you are the ones that's going to pay the higher taxes, the higher gas prices, all of that. If I'm looking at places that cost in what is it, San Joya or something like that in San Diego, and my budget is roughly 20. All right, which means that if I'm there for 4 or 5 months out of the year, then I'm gonna pay around 100. Okay, for the year. Now, if I was to move to California at the amount that and it's going to be a business residence, it's going to be a content creator's house. And so you also got to recognize that the tax benefits that come along with it and looking at it. La Jolla, that's what it is. La Jolla, I'm sorry. You got to look at the tax benefits that come along with looking at it from what it is that I do for a living. So take that into consideration also. There are people, right? Think about this. Because the average cost, the minimum wage, and all of that, there are people that's gonna make $300,000, $250,000, $400,000 a year, and you're going to pay more in taxes than I do to go and visit there and look at it as a business benefit and write it off as a business wise. For you to live there is going to cost you more than me to basically create content and vacation there. And that's the difference. For you to live there, it's going to cost you more than it is for me to vacation and create content there and look at it from a business perspective. and you got to pay property taxes. No matter what my budget is, I beat you as a person that work your ass off because your legislators look at you as a sucker. Your legislators look at y'all as suckers. And so instead of them creating a better business environment to where it actually brings in more revenue, more jobs, drive down costs, and increases housing and revenue that goes into the state, what they do is they say, well, we're going to run out all of the rich people. It's happening in Maryland right now.